Hi and welcome to BioStock Studio. With me here today we have Morten, the CEO of FluoGuide. Morten, could you start off by telling us a little bit about FluoGuide? What do you do?
Well, FluoGuide is developing a product that light up cancer and help the surgeon to do the surgical procedure, the operation, very precisely, so they remove all cancer and just the cancer. We start out in a very aggressive brain cancer, glioblastoma, and then we later on we will move into more prevalent cancer such as breast cancer, colorectal cancer, and lung cancer. But we start out with this very aggressive brain cancer.
Could you maybe elaborate a little bit more about you said lighting up the tumor or the tissue? How does it work?
Yeah, well, we inject just prior to surgery during the anesthesia. We inject a product that circulates into the body of the patient. It binds to a protein expressed on the surface of a cancer cell, UPAR, and then there's a fluorophore on it. So during surgery, the surgeon can actually activate this light, and it will light up the cancer. They can see exactly where the cancer is, where it starts and where it stops, and therefore it helps them to do the surgical procedure precisely.
What is the current status of your clinical trial?
Yes, we are currently now we are doing a phase 1/2 clinical trials in patients with glioblastoma undergoing surgery, and this is phased into two. The first phase we find the optimal dose, and when we have found the optimal dose, we move into the second phase where we kind of test it. And what we are right now doing is that we are in the first phase where we primarily look into safety, and we look into finding the dose where it will light the most in the cancer. So we go up to the dose 8 times in total, and when we have found the optimal dose, we will go into the second phase with that optimal dose. And we are currently now with one of the first doses, and are moving into the third one shortly.
So what does this mean for FluoGuide, the shareholders and the patients?
Well, I mean, the first step is that when we test our product, we've announced here recently that we have had no safety findings, and that we have that the few cancer 2 out of 3 lights up in the patient that have been treated. I mean, this is of course encouraging, but it's also important to understand that the study is meant to demonstrate the safety, and although we have very good animal data demonstrating a good tolerability profile, we have to prove it in humans as well, and that is what this first phase, up to 24 patients, will actually allow us to prove. And before we have the data from up to the 24 patients, we cannot say that it's anything about the safety profile, except that it's of course nice to see that we can advance the study. On the terms of lighting it up, it's very important also that it's being validated, because it's not good enough that some tissue is lighting up if it's not the cancer. So we have, when it lights up, we have to take those samples of tissue, we have to put them out, look in a microscope and see that actually it is cancer, and not before we have those data we can actually say with kind of a firm statement that actually it's corresponding to cancer. So it's very nice. It's as good as it can be in this stage we are on it now. But it's also important to understand that the purpose of the study is to demonstrate safety and the efficacy of our drug, which we will have as we go on with it.
Your share price have risen quite sharply in the latest month, I think. Do you have any comments on that?
Well, I mean, I think that what I would recommend shareholders to do is having a look at the report that has come out from SEB. It's a commission of research, but they started out in November. And I think that gives a very good background of the company. It's also described the potential, the risk, and actually I recommend shareholders to have a read on that one, and that gives a very good basis of the company. I think the reason for the share price increasing probably that the number of shareholders increases, but I think I recommend read that report. That's give a very good understanding of what kind of company FluoGuide is, and we have a huge potential, but we are also early stage, and what we need to do is taking off the risk, and that risk, when we take it off, that will kind of let us fulfill the value we can have. But I think it's important to understand that we're still early stage, and although we are in a good shape, we are early stage still. So, but we have a huge potential, and that is important to bear in mind as well, of course.
Yeah. If we look forward, what kind of milestones can we expect to see from FluoGuide?
The two most important milestones near term. The one is that when our first phase of the clinical study, where we prove safety and where we find the optimal dose, that will be completed summer. That will be the first very important milestone. The second one will be when we complete the second phase of the study, and there we get a hypothesis for the magnitude of benefit of our product. So how good will it actually be for the patient? How much can we help the surgeon? How precise will it be? And that will translate into the price we can charge fairly to the community, and that again will translate into the value of the company. So those two milestones are very important for us. So midsummer for the safety and the optimal dose, and end of the year or second half of the year will be the efficacy of our compound, magnitude of benefit for patients.
Thank you for coming here, Morten, and I wish you good luck with FluoGuide. Thank you.
Thank you.